Hello and welcome to Check 1 2. We interview survivors of testicular cancer, but also speak to advocates and supporters. This week, our guest is Neil Bell, who is an avid advocate of testicular cancer awareness and a proud supporter of Cahonas. He is a darts YouTuber and all-round good guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, Neil Bell. I've got the knees of an 80-year-old man. Do you know what I mean?
I'm falling apart. The older I'm getting.
Aye.
See, I wake up and I'm just like, I'm the wrong kind of stiff. Again, it's my shoulder, it's my knees. Like, going to have to give me 5 minutes to warm up to get out of bed.
Aye, lifting the knees up, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like that one clicked.
Terrible.
Aye. Kind of things you used to get at the Fitbar, the things that go...
Aye.
That's when I wake up, that's what happens with my back. It's like I just feel like everything clicks and groans.
It's my shoulder then now. It's just, see, because I thought it was a rotated cuff,
right?
Because I painted the fence and like I done it in 2 days. It's, you seen in my back garden,
Aye.
I done that in the deck.
Oh really? Aye, in 2 days.
I'm just like, and it was sore afterwards, but it's got worse.
Aye.
And like, go rest. I'm like, I can't because I throw darts.
You're like, I just can't.
Now it's like, so I'll go at the X-ray on this. Nothing wrong, it's soft tissue, right? Physio.
Aye.
Now I'm like saying, get that injection thing to ease the pain.
Cortisol injection, yeah. Aye.
I'm like, I'd love to. But it's just like, kind of just going, can I get some cortisone, please?
Apparently it's a sore thing, man, as well. So does it really affect you when you're throwing?
Aye. It's quite bad. Like,
is it?
It's see for the first leg or two, you know, it's not that bad. But the more I'm lifting my arm up, it clicks.
Oh really?
Aye. So right. I try and swing my arm round so to not get a click. And then it was like, say yesterday I was at the darts and I was just like, first 2 legs were spot on, right? Came to the third leg and I was like, right, we need to throw. Try and hit a treble 20. I was almost hitting the bill because my shoulder wouldn't let me reach up.
Pull up, aye.
I was just like...
flinging it like banana man.
But it's like the muscle goes, you can't go that way.
Yep.
So when I go to throw, it's weird.
Aye.
It goes, no, you can't go that way. So it turns it, so I'm hitting more 5s. Then I try to counter that and go, ha. He goes, fine then, 1s it is. I was like, this is first time playing darts.
It's like there's no rhyme nor reason to it.
No, it's just, I was like, oh, that was rubbish.
But thanks so much for coming on. It's awesome to have you on, mate.
I know, this is weird. You should really do it in your living room.
You know, we feel really comfortable in the living room, actually.
Kim, what we're missing? The dog.
The wee dog.
Licking my face.
He'd love it here. Could you imagine him here? But yeah.
The place would be destroyed.
Oh, it would be, aye. But, you know what I mean? We'd have a cheery wee soul running a bit. But yeah, so massive supporter of Cahonas, and we thank you. We can't thank you enough for like all the work that you're kind of doing to kind of promote testicular cancer awareness in the dart community. Like, it's
yeah, well, I'm trying. I mean, it's a simple like and share thing, but it's just trying to get the word out, you know. And you guys are doing all the work, and I'm just hitting a wee click button, you know. And so, terrible.
Terrible.
Sound off.
I thought I had it all in airplane mode and everything. There you go.
Terrible.
Apologies. Well, Cam will be able to cut that.
And action.
But yeah, but it's more than that though, because I see when you have like guys, I mean, because you go quite a decent following across your social media for like the Neil Starts channels. So
I don't know how, but yeah, a lot of bribery and a lot of freebies go into this.
Your content's good though, mate. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing. Like I'm
trying. There's room for improvement, but it's just having the time to doing it.
So how long have you been doing Neil Starts for as like as a Twitter handle, as a channel? Do you know what I mean?
I think it was 4 years ago. It was 2019. It was just before lockdown.
Right.
So 2019, obviously, foster carer, you know, kids go to school. I do my wee bit around the house, then I'm bored.
Aye.
You know, I'm not used to sitting on my butt all the time and, you know, just going, okay, right, watch a bit of TV. I like to move about. Then at that time there was a YouTube channel that the kids and I used to watch on a Sunday night, and they'd live stream and we watch it and like, yeah, get into it. And there wasn't that many people doing reviews at that time, and I started getting more into the darts at that point. And everyone's got this belief that there's a perfect dart out there for everyone. And I'm like, you don't have to spend, at the time, like even 4 years ago, £60 on a set of darts, like 70, 80, £100 on a set of darts. I mean, there's cheap ones out there that can just do the same thing.
Right.
So I thought, I'll create a YouTube channel. I'll try and do what these guys are doing. And I thought, I'll be able to just go in front of the camera, talk a wee bit. And I came in and I was like, no. I became a hand model for like the first 6 months of doing the reviews because I was scared to put my face on it. This face is built for radio, you know.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Mate. Handsome,
so it was
handsome.
like hand model, and you go through that. Is this what I'm doing right? Are people going to judge me? But hey, 4 years on, I'm in front of the camera. I've done some live streams, and it progressed, and it's So I've got a few thousand followers now. So my goal is 10,000. If once I get 10,000, I might retire.
Aye, that's it. I've reached the pinnacle of my dart review.
That's my peak.
But you're always working with like the kind of the big dart companies as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you always see.
It took a little while, but A180 or St Helens Dart Shop, Carol, he was the first to go, Neil, here's a set of darts, go review them and just mention their names. And I was just like, you're taken aback, like someone's giving you something for nothing.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is mention the company and that's it. And I was like, wow, okay. Now, always appreciative to Carol for doing that, eh? Then the big companies came along and like one more on Red Dragons, like, right, we're going to send you a few things at first. Now I get like a big box of darts and it's like, wow. And Target Darts, they came on board and they've been absolutely fantastic. You know, they send me stuff all the time. Now I was down at London for the launch in September as well, and I was like standing next to the players. You know, it was just like surreal at the time.
Aye.
The Gary Plummer, the owner, the Target Darts, and chatting to him, and it's just like I came a long way in 4 years. You know, and
I suppose as well, you've got the personality for it though. I think like if you give you the opportunity to speak to somebody, if folk are going to fall in love with you, do you know what I mean? Like that's it's true though, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no way. I think that's the good thing for it as well, because you look at it. I mean, the minute you came on board, like we kind of promoting Cahonas stuff, like you know, like your Loxleys and all that, you know, were saying, aye, like here's stuff to help you raise money, which. Again, for us being a kind of a small charity compared to like, you know, some of the big ones out there, that means so much to us as well. So
but it's getting that the prostate cancer one is the big one for men, but Cahonas as well is we have to think about our balls basically. We don't talk about it enough. And like Loxley, Matt Birchie from Loxley Darts, he was like, aye, here's a few things for you. Go ahead and do what you need to do for it. And I'm like, thank you so much, Ken.
Yeah.
So Matt's a great guy. He's got all the time in the world. We talk constantly. Then Target Darts as well. Signed shirts and darts and that as well. It's like, okay. So I raised a pretty penny. Then obviously we've done the half marathon, which I wish it was a 10k now. That was a killer, but managed to raise a bit of money, so I'm hoping every penny helps.
It definitely does for us. Like, I mean, it gives us the opportunity to do stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? It's like it allows us to kind of spread awareness across different formats. You know, it's like it's not just handing out flyers, you know, or making sure that you're kind of just dropping leaflets into offices or emails and stuff. So it allows us to do stuff like this. Do you know what I mean?
But social media is the way to go.
Yeah.
And you're doing the right thing, you know, creating podcasts and videos and and getting the word out, and you getting more people involved with it, so it's great.
It's great having like supporters like yourself, do you know what I mean? And I know, you know, you've had your experiences through testicular cancer, obviously me having it, you know, and us being related, but obviously you've had like, you know, stuff that you've had yourself going on over the years. You've had scares with testicular cancer like that could have been. Can you just kind of just take us back to, you know, like your history around that? I know it's
going to be a long one.
Listen, mate, we've got time.
I'll keep it minimum. So when I was a child, I had a undescending testicle. Right, so I had an operation on that. I think it was about 9 to lower it down. So it didn't lower all the way down, so it was quite high up. Then after that, adulthood came, had a vasectomy, which was complicated because that one was high up as well. Then I think it was in my mid-20s. Yeah. I had an issue with that testicle. It was quite sore. I was like really worried about it. So I went to the doctors and they said, well, they weren't too sure what happened at first. So, and I was on this long waiting list. I was like, I can't wait this long. So I went private, went to the doctors there, and they went, right, what we're going to have to do is take it out. Done all like the scans and whatnot, because I think we're going to have to take it out because it was the size of a pea at this point.
Oh, really? Wow.
And it was excruciatingly painful. And I was like, okay. And right, we'll take that out and we're going to put a silicone one in. I was like, what? Confusion at this time. Goes, it's fine. I went, okay, but I was too busy thinking about this. Right, I'm going to have to go for surgery thing. So I had that, and fast forward 20 years, just July there. I woke up one morning, it was a Thursday morning, and I felt discomfort. And I was just like, oh, that doesn't feel right. I think I must have slept funny, you know, or twisted, you know, just whatever. Ignored it for the day. Friday comes, I went, oh, that's getting really sore. And I was in the garage at this point. I was throwing darts at the board. I went, oh. And the flight came off and went on the floor. So I went down to pick it up. And this pain is like someone grabbed the ball and just squeezed it really hard. And I just went, so much pain. I went, flashes of warning, like, that's wrong. So I was in the garage alone, door was shut, just getting that out there now. So I dropped my shorts and that right there and then. And I had the feeling, I was like, right. And it was really tender to touch. Then I found the lump at the back. And I just went, went no. So I went in and I says to Sandy, I was like, right, I found a lump. And she was like, oh no. Got upset and that. And I was like, right, I don't like upset. So I made a joke about it and made wee jokes to try and cheer her up. And I was too late to phone the doctors at this point, so I had the weekend with everything, and that's when I phoned you on Saturday morning. I was like, Paul, you got 5 minutes to talk. So you gave me the reassurance, and, you know, talking to you for the good nearly an hour, I think it was, we were on the phone. You know, you're just reassuring me, and I'm like, right, okay. Then Monday morning. Now, I'm going to tell the reason why I mentioned the previous stuff has to do with what happens next. Okay. So after all these surgeries that I had growing up, with the vasectomy, getting the testicle removed, and the other surgery, slight numbness down there on one side of it. So I went to the doctors, and it was the nurse that had to do it. And she goes, right, how's things? I went, still really sore, and I found a lump. And she went, right, you got any other issues down there? I went, well, I've got a silicone ball on the left-hand side. I had surgery before. She looked at the medical. Right. She goes, right, I'm going to get you up in the bed, get you drop your trousers, put a wee sheet over you. I'm going to get someone in. They'll stand behind the curtain. I went, right, okay. So I'm lying there, and she goes, right, we're just going to have a feel for it. I'm going to feel it. I went, right. Now, I expected to get grabbed, and I was waiting for this shooting pain to come through. And I'm like, what's that? it just felt wrong. I went, I know I've got slight numbness down there, but right, okay. And I just felt like she was just stroking with her back of the hand. She went, oh, it's quite large. Oh, it's quite solid feeling. And I went, So I put my hand down and I tapped him and went, my right, your left is what you want to check. She went, oh my God. The woman behind the curtain started chocolate. She went, that's the silicone one. Oh, I'm really sorry. I was like, it's all right, it's okay. So after the embarrassment for her, I went for an ultra scan, took all the pictures and went, right, we'll be in touch in 2 weeks' time. I went, okay, no worries. And you know the rules. If you don't get in touch within the 2 weeks, you're okay.
Aye, yeah.
Right? You know, if you're having to phone up to check, you're okay. It was 2 days in, I get a phone call from the doctors and I just went, everything, I could feel the blood just lowering itself down. I was just like shaking, taking this phone call. I was like, it's cancer. What am I going to do next? So they phoned up and says, we know you had some history before with vasectomy. Did you get post-vasectomy? I'm like, a what? Oh, I should have checked the tube in. Right, we've looked at it. What we're going to do is we're going to call it a chronic lesion, like a form of cyst. Right, okay. But that's what we're calling it now. What we're going to do is get you back in 6 months' time, and if it's growing, then obviously it's not a chronic lesion, and we'll take it from there. But we'll give you medication for whatever, anti-inflammatories for it. So I've got another month to wait till I find out the results. And it's been a bit of a head game for the last 5 months. You know, I've been like this, but I'm trying to keep positive as much as possible. But yeah, it's been a journey. I'm hoping everything's all right.
I think it's that way as well, though. It's still that thing, eh? It's like you hope that if there was something significant, they wouldn't let you wait. You know, so it's like if you're getting a call in a couple of days rather than the 2 weeks, and then if there is anything after that, you'd hope that, you know, that's going to be the case. And I think, like I said to you on the phone that kind of Saturday morning, with these things, you know, it's like the likelihood of being cancer is still really
slim, I know,
low. But it's telling your brain that, you know what I mean? That's the problem.
It's been the mental game for the last 4 or 5 months. You know, it's like, is Christmas going to be a great Christmas? You know, is Christmas going to be me in the hospital? Is it, you know? Yeah. But it's like, no, you can't wait. It's all good. It's all good. Aye. We're going to have fun. Doesn't matter. It's just a ball, you know. We'll deal with it at the time. But it was up and down for a wee while. But I'm trying to think more positive and just not let it get to my head a bit. But it's a psychological game, isn't it?
Aye, oh, for sure. It's horrific. And like, you know, I suppose I was lucky in the sense that I didn't have to wait because it was pretty kind of clear when I went in for mine. But like, so see when you kind of lost your first one, was that the undescended one that had kind of, so and then so it being as like kind of like as wee as it was it did it die off? Was it
there was like the blood vessel going towards it had blocked,
right? Okay.
And that's what stopped the blood flowing to the testicle, and that's what it died.
Right.
Well, it was like a grape to a raisin, you know. But I had no idea about any the medical side of it. I was just like uncomfortable, and I thought, did it go back up? Because when obviously I was checking back then, all I could feel was the bottom of it. I was like, oh, what's happening? But even then, touching it was excruciatingly painful. But it was a size of a pea, apparently. And I went, okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Like, I've got big balls, what are you talking about?
Because I'm going to walk in circles here. I'm going to have a limp.
You just have to put change in your other pocket. That's all it does. Even shit.
I put the heavier stuff on the other side.
That wallet, you know what I mean? Just pack it in there.
Well, there's nothing in that.
But it must have been like, I suppose, like, so you have had that. So you were saying that you were checking. Did you kind of at that point then know about like kind of self-checks, or was it something that you were just checking because you had a problem, or were you aware of that, you know, like testicular cancer at that point? Did you ever think that? Did people discuss that with you the first time round?
The first time round?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was 20 odd years ago. No one really talked about checking yourself, and, you know, it wasn't advertised as much as it was, and social media wasn't a thing really then as well. And it was, I never checked myself. You know, it's just like, oh, I've got a problem. What do I do with it? And I delayed myself going to the doctors because of embarrassment.
Right.
And it wasn't to the point that I was like, I can't walk.
Aye.
You know, that is sore. Just putting pants on it, you know, and they're just like, no, that's not feeling right. Can't go about wearing a kilt all day, you know. But no, there was no such thing as checking yourself out, or, you know, it was going in and talking to the doctor, and I was embarrassed talking to the doctor, and it was a female doctor,
right?
You know, and I'm just like, what's she going to think? Is she judging me? You know, it's like, but you have to go through it. You know, you have to just go, it's my health. So I'm glad I did, and I went through it, and I'm glad I went private as well, because I got done within a month. You know, time they done their own tests and took me in, and it was about a month, or else I would have been waiting longer.
Aye.
But it is what it is.
Aye. It's just amazing though, like, that even like to have that need to go private as well must have been like, especially if you've been so sore,
Where I was working, I got private medical anyway. I was covered by the work. All I had to do was pay like a silly wee excess. And I was like, I'll do that. And the work was supportive as well, because I had to go in and tell them, look, I need to use my private medical, and this is what it's for. And they're like, you do what you need to do. We'll cover you. You're fine. But yeah, they were great in that way and helping me out, because obviously, like, oh, I'm going to need time off work. I've got bills to pay, but, you know, they were there. They helped me out, and having that private medical through work saved me a lot of time.
That's incredible as well, and it's nice to hear that you got like workplaces out there that kind of are supportive like that as well. Because
there's not many who go, well, you need to take time off, then, you know, well, half your wage or something like that. Selling like,
yeah, and to just have to pay like an excess on that private medical care as well. It's like that's because I mean, it's not exactly going to be a cheap operation when it's something like that as well.
No, with the tests, then the X-ray, then surgery itself, you know, then get a free silicone for being a good boy.
So did you have no say in the silicone? They just went, we're putting one in, was that?
I never really gave it much thought, because I was too busy thinking I'm getting one removed. You know, all my focus was get this pain away. Yeah. The doctor could have been saying anything to me. I'm like, aye, whatever, just whatever. Do what you need to do, and just. But I never gave it a thought. Again, I was like, putting a silicone in, and I went, what does that mean? It wasn't until like post surgery. I was like, so what? It is like, is this going to go up? Is it going to go in? I went, no, we stitch it to your sack. I went, so I won't cough and it'll go inside. That's how gullible that I was at the time. It was just like,
you didn't know.
You don't know if they just slip it in the bag and that's it.
It's just floating around.
But no, it's stitched on. But it's a great wee party trick, and can go, I can flick here, right? And I'll not feel nothing. Right, that's how hard I am. Didn't do it to the alien, but I can do it.
How often do you do this party trick? That's the thing.
Well, depends how drunk I am and where I am.
You hear a lot of folk though who like have that choice, like after an operation, like because you went through the exact same process as anybody who would have had testicular cancer, which is have that orchidectomy as well. So, you know, it's like then you hear people having that choice and about the comfort and all that. I take it as something that's never bothered you, having the silicone one in.
No, I don't even realise it's there, to be honest. I mean, if it wasn't there anyway, I wouldn't faze me. But, you know, it's there, but I don't notice it.
Yeah, aye.
It doesn't go, hi, it's no out, doesn't stick out more or nothing. So it just feels the same as the other one.
Aye.
Unless you ask the nurse who was checking me, and feels hard.
And it was definitely
I hope so.
the ball she was feeling.
I would know the difference.
Oh man, I can imagine. Oops, sorry, son.
God. No, you don't grip it like that.
Oh, I love it, man. I suppose there's that thing, like you touched on it as well, and it's what, like, as Cahonas we're trying to do. It's that stigma and embarrassment, and to a man, when you get the chance to speak to guys who have had issues or had testicular cancer, and it's that first step of going to the doctors. It's I did it even with mine. I went, I'm not going to go to the doctors for this. I put it off. I think for a couple of weeks. I think it could have been actually even in having conversations like these and having conversations like this with guests on the podcast, your memory kind of jogs back because you don't think about it too often.
No.
But see, when you start to think about it, my timelines are kind of catching up a little bit better. And I realised that I always think it was about 2 weeks. It was actually about a month that I left mine for.
A month?
A month, aye. Because I had the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had went to work, and you know that way I was sitting in a chair and I just felt uncomfortable. I was like, and I thought, right, I better phone the doctors and get this seen to. And then I kind of, got fear and embarrassed and put it off. And then I got the flu. And I was like proper flu, not just man flu, like proper flu. I was floored for about, 2 weeks of that. So then that's when I was in my head. I was like, it couldn't have just been 2 weeks because I was wiped out with the flu for about 2 weeks. And that it was at that point the pain got significantly worse. And I was like, yeah, I think there's a real problem here. And having obviously looked up the Cahonas self-check guide and kind of seen all the statistics and all that, like when I first knew there was a problem, I was like, it just got into my head. I was like, oh, man, this isn't good. And it's that thought, this is cancer. It's a horrible thought to kind of have stuck in your head,
You do this self-diagnosis as well, and you can make it worse, And that's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go, right, Google this. Is this what it is? And I was like, no. I'll go just get it checked out. Obviously, being older now, I just don't give a hee-haw anymore about anything. I'll just talk about anything in now. Well, it's like 20 years ago, I was a wee bit, it's my, Well, as soon as I'm just slapping it out and going, like, can you check that out?
Before you're like,
So it's I think it's got to do with your maturity level as well, your confidence, being able to go and talk to someone. Again, 20 years ago, this kind of thing never happened, We never had, go check yourself out. I mean, it wasn't even advertised on TV or that, Men should go check themselves out. It was like almost like a dirty secret. You can't talk about your genitals in public. No, gentleman never talks.
Aye, yeah. Aye.
And whereas now we're sitting here doing all of this, like talking about balls and like, guys, go check yourselves out. Whereas, again, 20 years ago, you don't do that. To now, it's like we're all open. We can have the confidence. I think once you've been through the experience, you're not embarrassed about it. I think once you take that first step over of, it's this down here, you're confident going, right, I've had issues down here, I want to talk about it. Because you don't want someone else to go through the same thing. Don't be ashamed of it. It's just, if you've got an issue, go to the doctors. They don't care what size you are, how little you are, or whatever. You don't need to prune it. Trim it right down, whatever. Just go get it seen, because they don't care. All they care is about your health at the end of the day. And that's what That's what they're there for.
That's what I say. Like, see, when I go out and do talks all the time, I say that's the exactly the way I put it. It's like, your doctors don't care what your willy looks like, what your balls look like. It's a set of testicles and a penis to them. Like, they are medical, and it's penis and testicles. That's it. It's just these generic things that they know come in different shapes and sizes. So they're not going to go, it's like a penis but smaller. You know what I mean? They're not going to do any of that. That's the thing. They're going to treat you with dignity and respect, and it is hard. And I think, like you're saying, 20 years ago we didn't talk about that. It was that gentleman doesn't talk about his private parts.
Nope.
And then you look at even 20 years ago, in fact, it's probably kind of come up to 30 years ago now. Like, when you look at the high profile cases of your Lance Armstrongs, your Alan Stubbs, your John Hartsons, and you've got these incredibly fit, young men, and then the topic of conversation just got hidden away. It made no impact into health at school. It's like, again, hopefully when folk are watching the podcast and they're watching it back to back, they'll be fed up of me talking about the education part of it, but there was nothing at school, mate. You know what I mean?
And you're right, because I watched the last one. I'm like, that's exactly what they did at my school. Took the women out, we get to see how a willy just goes up and down, and that was it. And they went and done the whole period thing, and I'm like, what are they getting? What's more interesting with them? But we should get taught about it, well, back then, about women's stuff, and they should get to know about our stuff. So, if a girl's having a bad day, you know why.
Yeah, aye. If your boyfriend's walking funny, why? Do you know what I mean? You have that conversation. You're walking funny, your gate's a bit off. But it's true, that's the thing. It really, it got perpetuated, this stigma about talking about stuff. And you're right, there wouldn't have been stuff like this, and hopefully we're the change in that. Like, we've both got sons. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and hopefully our experience and us being open to talking about that allows them to, when they get to the age where, they should be doing their checks, they do. And it just becomes a non-embarrassing thing.
It's when you hit 50, you get a letter from the NHS to go and get your prostate checked. Why not do something like that, but check yourself out testicular? Say you hit 18. Can you're at that stage in your life, you're an adulthood, or 21, when you're meant to be an adult, get that letter and go, remember, check yourself. Why is the NHS not just find a little letter out to every male out there and go, check yourself? Why not? We should be checking ourselves regular, but most people don't, because they think I'm in great shape, but on the inside you might not be.
And that's the thing. I think there's there are some cancers that are like, they have preventable risk factors and all that. Obviously it's no cancer is truly preventable, but like testicular cancer, the way that it seems isn't preventable in terms of kind of diet, exercise, and that's why I always talk about these fit athletes, still had this issue. It's not like, I know that there's non-smokers get lung cancer, but the high majority of people who get lung cancer are maybe been heavy smokers or worked with asbestos for years, and it's there's a preventable risk factor that has been there, but when it comes to your testicles, there's nothing really there, and it's such an easy thing to do. It's such an easy thing to check. There's you're able just to shut the garage door, flap the choosies down, and check. You don't need specialised equipment to do it.
Thankfully, it was during the summer holidays, or else I'd be still hunting during winter.
Well, they're there somewhere.
They're hiding away, hibernation time.
As the silicon starts to freeze. But it's true though, man. It's true, and it's hopefully conversations like this, and you having like that kind of amazing following within the darts community. Hopefully, folk tune into this one at least, and see how open you are, and the kind of the discussion that we're having, and it's that desire of like, listen, let's just get that message out there. It's really simple, you know what I mean? And it's that check your balls for life message, you know, and for folk watching, and it's like that life acronym is really, really easy. It's lumps, irregularities, firmness, and enlargement. It's those 4 key things, and that's all it takes.
You know, within yourself, it doesn't have to be like excruciatingly painful. It can just be a slight discomfort and go, oh, that doesn't feel right. Check it out. Just get it checked out. I mean, the sooner you find out, the sooner it can get treated, you know, instead of going, oh, it'll be all right in a couple of days. Mm-hmm. Which I did it, like on the Thursday, oh, I'll be all right in a day or two. I must have slept funny. And it wasn't until the following day there was that pain, and it was like ding-a-ling-a-ling. But again, it's because if it wasn't for you guys and kind of promoting your Cahonas, I wouldn't have went, all right, I better go check. I would have just left it and went, oh, that's just funny. And just go on with it. Went, oh, my jeans are too tight, you know. My pants are too tight. But I was like, no, check yourself. Because you always say that, check yourself. I mean, if you got a slight niggle, check yourself. And that's what I did. Usually came through at my head, check yourself. And I did. And that's when thankfully I got some help with that. So.
Which is amazing for us as well, the fact that, you know, like, I know personally, you know, like, you know, my story, and you know what I mean, and you know, me, when I was at your wedding, you know, I still had no hair for being going through treatment.
I thought you did that for a bet, and I thought, he's looking for attention, this guy, you know.
So I just shaved his head.
He's trying to outshine me.
With how bald I was, I outshone everybody. But it's that thing, you know, it's great that we've had that impact, at least, you know, and hopefully that kind of like continues into every aspect of like thing that Cahonas does. If one person checks herself, you know, because of what they've heard and seen, is powerful for us, you know, and it helps us kind of get that message kind of stamped out there, you know. I think I was going to ask as well, like obviously, with us being related and me going through my testicular cancer, like, did that, even at that point, like, you've obviously had your own issues and stuff like that, but did that kind of put it more into the kind of front of your head, like at that timeline? I know it's a while ago now, but like when you heard that I had testicular cancer, what, like, can you remember like any thoughts that you maybe had at that time? Or
all I knew is when like I got told about it, as I went, fuck, I hope he's all right, you know, because it's not just, again, it's the mental side of it as well. It's just like, because we had your brother's wedding as well, and I seen you there, and I just took a step back and I looked at you first, and I just wanted to see if you can shown any down, because I'm going to give this guy a big hug, you know. He needs it. But you look great, you look confident. I was like, he's doing good, and he's doing good here as well. And so, yeah, I was more concerned about your mentality side at that point, because I knew back then it was a struggle for me, but I was like, hopefully he's doing all right mentally. Because obviously the medical side will get treated that way, and I was like, I'll see how he is. And you seem to be, you were up and down at that point. Again, you weren't your usual self, and I could see that, and I didn't want to push. And I was like, hey, how's it going? You know, just being us, what we usually do to each other, eh? And it's just like, yeah, that's fine. Long as I can get my smile for 5 minutes, you know. But yeah, seeing you going through it did bring some flashback, but I never had that support kind of thing when I was going through it myself. So I just wanted to make sure you were doing all right at that point. Didn't want to go on about me. Oh, I've been through it, mate, you know. It's all about me. It's just hard to copy.
I had one ball first, mate.
Yeah. See what I can do. You missed it.
I missed a trick there, like, yeah.
But no, you seemed all right, and I remember you being high and low at the times during the wedding as well. And I was just like, he's doing all right. I don't want to be in your face too much at that point. I was like, oh, he's doing all right. If I see him smiling, I know he's all right. You know?
Aye. It was wild at the end because obviously it'd been like a month and I'd had the operation, and I think we spoke about that at the time as well. And but at the end, leaving, because I was actually going into chemo. Like, I can't remember if they were married on the Saturday or the Sunday, but basically the Monday, or no, the day after, I was going in for chemo the day after, because I remember at the end, like, I didn't make the end of the wedding, I had to go.
Because you left early.
Aye.
Because I thought, I was saying to Aunt Carol and Uncle Art, I was like, is he all right? Is he all right? Going up, your mum, is he all right? Your mum and dad, is he all right? Where is he? He just left early. He was just a bit tired. Okay.
Tired and sore. It was mad, like, but because it was funny, like, having to go through that, and then like there's this big happy occasion as well. You know what I mean? It's like your brother's wedding, and then you're trying to kind of get through like a happy. I was meant to be an usher, and I probably did, like, thankfully my brother's mate Greg, he was one of the other ones, and it's like he just took up the slack. I just had to sit down half the time. Like, there's no seating, just sit down.
Just go there, look at the seating plan, come on.
But it was the kilt, was because obviously where like they cut where the kilt was sitting and where my spawn was sitting, it was rough, man. It was rough. But
should have moved it to the side. The sporn, that is, you know.
There's one of my mates who got married last year. I don't know if we've got the kind of professional photos back yet, but they lined up all the boys, and we've got the spawn. But I kind of took two of the toggles away, so there's just one. Oh. He's not said anything, so he's maybe not noticed, but I was like, it's just the silly things that make me laugh. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's having one ball's no anything embarrassing.
Oh, see, speaking about one ball, when I used to play my Xbox all the time, this was like after the surgery and that, you know how you can get yourself a wee gamer tag name?
Yeah.
I called myself One Ball. That's how it was known, as One Ball. I was playing Call of Duty and that, and he was like, come on, One Ball, good stuff.
It's like, that's me. There's no doubt that's who you're talking about.
Brackets, kind of was my tag with the name, and it's like One Ball.
And was it ball as in B-A-W?
Aye. One and ball.
Love it, man.
Named myself that for years.
Aye. It's funny though, is like, see, because the Xbox, like, Microsoft store everything, that username still exists, like, for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's out there in the wild.
Go find it, yeah.
Start gaming again as One Ball.
One Ball is back.
I always say that as well, man. It's like, I understand that irony that my name's Paul, you know what I mean? And it would have been One Ball Paul, but aye.
If it keeps going, I might have to change my gamer tagging name to Neighbours.
Honestly, you should have seen the thought that just ran through my head. I was like, I better not.
New nickname will be Two Rubber.
You just get a metal one put in, do you know what I mean? Like, just play with the idea.
Going through the airport though.
Well, it makes it an interesting conversation.
Two metals, because one rubber and one metal. Imagine me and be two metals clanging about the place.
Clicking away.
Imagine me running.
Well, it'd almost be like a metronome though. You'd know how fast you're going.
Keep to the beat.
But just speaking about your running, obviously you took up the challenge of running for Cahonas in the Great Scottish Run.
Yeah.
And, you ran the half marathon.
Well, half walk, half run.
Listen, you've done better than me. I basically walked 10k and go give her a medal.
No training whatsoever. Just done it.
But you obviously, over the years, you've ran, and that's your kind of like go-to for fitness as well, isn't it? Like, to kind of go out running. I know you kind of like you didn't do much training for the marathon. No. So how was that? Like you so you and the laddie, you have just started on that run.
Yeah.
At what point are you going, God damn it, I wish I'd trained a little bit?
See, going up the hill right at the very beginning, just after it goes up like that. Aye. Where's the taxi? I shouldn't have done this, because I just literally started back running, and I thought I'll get myself back into this properly maybe 6 weeks before it. And I was like, right. And I was doing all right, and I went, hey, come on, I'm going to do that half marathon. And you're like, oh, why not just do the 10K with us? And I'm like, phooey, I've done the half marathon twice before. Right? I had trained up for it months before it. I went, I know how it goes. I know what to look for. I know the inclines where they are and how to breathe. And yeah, I done no training whatsoever. Like, I remember I was on the treadmill half a dozen times before. And there was a week before I went, no, I'm going at once, done a couple of kilometres, went, no, I can't overdo it. I went, no, you can't overdo it because you need to save your energy in your legs. That's what half marathon. Honestly, I was start, stop, walk, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I had a knee brace thing on because my knee was goosed. I had to rip that off because it was digging in the back. And I was like, I can't breathe. And your tops, by the way, are horrendous. Not breathable. I could not breathe in this, right? The sun came out and I was melting on the inside. And I'm like, I can't do this. And Junior here, 14, like a spring chicken right next to me. Come on, Dad, let's go. And he's like running around in circles at me. Come on, let's go. And I'm like, just shut up. I'm twice your weight and 3 times your age. You shut up. And the sun's out. I can't hear it. Get in the water. I'm like, he actually carried water halfway through for me because I couldn't carry it.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, he went, I'll take it. And he's just running in circles. Come on, Dad, let's just keep going. And I'm like, see if I trained for this.
I was like, there's a couple of my pals who had done it with, like, just the 10K with me, right? And they were just like strolling, not even a sweat. And then there's me and Donnie, you know what I mean? Like, both of us had the other Cahonas t-shirt that's just the cotton.
Yeah.
You know, so we had the loop here, the almost AO logo here. Right,
AO.com. You got it work, Neil. Shut it. You know.
But because we were sweating on the back, it almost looked as though we had the same thing on the because of the back boobs. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
And they two are just strolling, and we get to this point close to here actually, like in fact, not too far away from the Good Coffee Cartel. So we're turning around the corner, and there's a toilet stop.
Yep.
So my mate Tony goes, boys, I'm just going to go to the loo. I'll catch up with you, right? So we're running, let me get round to me, and then it's like this sharp turn that you kind of go on yourself, and then you're back on, and you just, boys, like bloody roadrunner. Like, he's like, we're probably at, I don't know, like kilometre like 6 or something like that, and there's him just sprinting to catch up with us, and then just continues to get to us and go, all right, that was good, eh? And I went, how are you breathing? Like, I'm needing a Sherpa guide and an oxygen tank at this point, you know. Oh,
there was a few who had the Cahonas t-shirt on. There was a crowd of them, 4 of them. Might have been usual actually passing me. I'm doing a half marathon, and I'm like, oh, can I keep going? And they're like, come on, guys, let's go. And then I'm like, see you.
that would have been the guys for you and Hamilton rugby team. There was a squad of them.
They were all wearing it. I'm like,
yeah,
just carry me.
Like, these are all big boys. Someone just
the t-shirt was just horrendous. I was like, I'm pulling it down, try and get some fresh air in, and I'm just like, can't breathe.
But you did it though. I think that's the thing.
I did it. Not the greatest of times, but I did it.
Listen, I think getting round that and do it. I mean, I've done a marathon once, and then they changed the name to Snickers, you know, so
done plenty of them.
And I just continue to do them, you know. But to do a half marathon is a feat in itself. I think a lot of folk will look at kind of like running stuff and go, aye, that's easy enough to do. But see if you haven't trained, and even if like you're fit and haven't trained, like we've seen folk who I know were fitter than me, like doing the 10K, like blowing it, you know, out their bum, because they've obviously started too quick and lost all that, you know. So for you guys to do that and raise the amount of money that he's raised for Cahonas as well was amazing.
Well, that was thanks to the brands helping, you know, giving us the signed goods, and because I don't think I would have raised as much if it wasn't for them doing so. Then I auctioned off the gear to the public, and you know, it helped a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was worth it in the end.
Aye.
Definitely.
Worth the blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah, mostly tears and sweat. But I don't know. I'll train for it the next time, I think.
Aye, yeah.
I'm going to get back to it. I used to run. That was the thing. I used to run. You know, I used to run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do like 5, 10K during the week. And at the weekend, I'll do 15, 20 at the weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Then lockdown came and COVID, and I just went, no, Kim, can't go out. Just eat instead. And that was a marathon itself. See how much I can eat in an hour.
It's got a lot to blame for that COVID. Like,
it does. And then a year after it, I'm still like mentally couldn't get back into it.
Mm.
But then I'm like, no, I need to get back into it. I need to get back into it. I enjoyed it, you know. It was my getaway thing.
Yeah. I think we were all right. Like, see during the first lockdown, Joe Wicks was a absolute lifesaver, man. Like, and because of having the 2 kids, like, the wee man was still in primary school, so they were all about it. So every morning we would do Joe Wicks, and I managed to keep weight off that first lockdown. See, when the second one came in, you know, I stopped.
Screw it.
I was like, Joe Wicks keeps the Twix, you know, that all day, and I just went.
It was stressful, man. Very stressful. The boys are used to a routine, especially the youngest year.
Yeah.
And see, take that out of the equation for him. He just couldn't understand. He thought it was a holiday. I'm like, no, you still have to do schoolwork.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, no, not doing it. And it's just a fight for a year. You have to do homework. And I was like, the second lockdown came, I was like, see, before we start this lockdown, like, I mean, you need to change the process of how you are doing the schooling because it's not working.
Yeah.
So they managed to change it for him, and it was a lot better, but I brought the treadmill on for the shed into the living room, and I still couldn't get into it.
Aye. It's hard as well, you know what I mean? Like, to kind of, like, once you've kind of been out of it, you get some folk who mentally they're just like, nah, switched on, I have to do this and that. I lost a whole lot of motivation. I mean, at one point, you know, like, I lost, like, must have been about 7 stone or something like that. Like, I'd lost, like...
well, you dropped a fair size.
Aye, like...
and you were out running at night and that. And
all the time.
The wee pictures, look, you know, mate.
Aye.
And I'm sitting there, like, eating a cake, like, oh, well done, pal.
Well, it was those 2 runs that I did. So I done the 5K a day and then the 10K a day. And doing them, that kind of helped keep the weight off, and lots of different things and all that get in the way, but you know,
you always put it off to the following day. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, aye.
I'll start next week.
Aye.
But you just have to, I mean, there's times I'm just like geared up, you know, I've got every shorts, t-shirt and trainers just about to head out the door, and I'm just like not feeling it.
Aye.
I'm just going to get changed because you just have to get out that door. But see, when she come back in for it, you feel great.
Oh, you feel amazing. Aye, you feel amazing.
Knackered, but you've achieved it.
Aye.
I mean, even if it's a 3K run, you've still went out and done it.
Aye.
I'm great with where I am because I've got the canal. I can just run along that when it's not busy with cyclists and dog walkers. But
aye,
yeah, that's great for me. But your area, you've got no bad.
Well, I've got a good way 5K route, right, just for the house, running and doing like my area. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's, you know, right down through Larbert and Stennismere. I've got a dead on 5K route. It takes me like for the door, like back to the kind of entranceway to go into our street. Takes me right to there, and that's that 5K route done. So I've no excuse. I've no excuse, and I keep saying to myself, Great Scottish Run next year, I'm going to do the half marathon, I'm going to train for it. I should be training now, and yes. I've not even laced up my trainers, you know. So I think for me, actually, like, what I'll do is by the time this episode comes out, I'll set up a challenge and put it in Strava or whatever Nike app, whatever we all use. And if the supporters of Cahonas are out there and they want to help motivate me, join the group, and I'll start running and training.
Well, I've got Strava, so
aye,
you know that. So
yeah, aye.
We'll do it together.
Yeah, man.
But I'm thinking about joining the gym as well. So
aye,
the same gym.
Yeah.
So you might have competition. Who can be the laziest?
Who's standing by the vending machine for the longest?
Who's supervising? But no, should we get? Yeah, I'm gonna get back in it. I need to get back in it. It's just. it's great, not just for the body, but for the mind as well, because see when you're on that treadmill and you just run everything back in your head, like the previous day, like, oh, that was a troubled day with him, why was that?
Yeah.
You reflect on it and break it down, and it's like, right, I need to speak to him about this and that. This is why it's happening, you know, and you forget that you're running because you've got your mind set on something else, so it's good.
And it's that thing anyway, it's so good for your mental health, and I think that's the biggest challenge for guys, you know, who even if you haven't had the chemo, like even just after having an orchidectomy, like having that it's almost like a loss of something, because it is a weird thing to lose. Like, you know, as men we grow up and like we feel like our masculinity is tied to our genitals. We really do. Like, I mean,
yeah. Well, when I was getting it done, I did. You know.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think that's when I spoke to folk previously. I think if I was in my early 20s, I maybe would have got a silicone implant. But I think, you know, being 30, being in a loving relationship, feeling a little bit more confident in myself at that stage, I was like, I don't really need that for that, you know. So I didn't bother. But you know, you speak to guys like yourself, like Todd, who's been on, who, you know, were younger at the time. You can understand why you would need that. But even out with all of that, having the, I don't know, like that kind of mental aspect of losing a testicle, it's hard, and it's something again that isn't spoken about. Is the mental health side of losing a testicle, you know, and it's the impact that can have. I mean, obviously, like, kind of this is us kind of going back to that, but when you lost that first one, like, what was your mindset like after, like, kind of having your surgery? Did you have a difficult time adjusting to the fact?
Yeah, I kept on calling myself half a man, you know.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm not a real man anymore because I've got only one. Yeah, and it does play on your head quite a lot of what's going to change for me now, you know. I don't feel confident as a man, like doing like manly chore things, like, oh, go to the garden. I'm like, oh, that's a man's job. And you hear that in like even just people talking in the pub, I'm like, no, we're men, you know. But inside you're like, oh, didn't feel it.
Yeah, aye.
No, you can be smiling away, but in the inside you're like, no, I'm no. Because you have to put this face on in front of other people. And I was just like, And going back to work as well, it was quite difficult. Because I didn't feel me anymore. I didn't feel like I was the same person going in. But everyone was like, hey, how's it going? Where you been? What were you off for? I'm like, didn't tell them, you know, because I was ashamed of it, you know. I'm not a man anymore, you know. And it was just had a wee bit of an operation, that's all. It was nothing, getting blah, blah, blah. But it did play on my head for a while. And obviously people dropped it, then I get older and a bit more wiser, not too much, just enough. And I'm like, I've had one removed, you know. I feel all right. I know someone who used to play darts with, he was going through the process of getting one taken out. And I was like, doesn't it change nothing, mate? You know? I went, I've got one, and it doesn't change me. And it's like, what? It's not like you got to go about with a sign in your head and goes, I only got one ball, you know? I've been through the surgery. And he was like, what? And Kenny opened up, like, oh, I've gone for an operation, I need to get it out, blah, blah, blah. I went, you'll be fine, long as you've got support and the network of people, because that's what's most important. You've got a network of friends and family there to support you. Because, but will not change who you are. You'll be able to do all the same things. He's like, oh, right. But if I was to try and do that in my 20s and somebody told me the same thing, that, they were going for surgery, I wouldn't have said I've had it.
Oh, really? Right.
Because I was ashamed of that point. Okay. Felt I wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't me.
Yeah.
I just felt half a person.
I had the same feelings and thoughts, and I used to say the exact same thing. Like, I'd make the joke of being like, I'm only half a man. But like 50% of a joke is the truth and how you feel. And I think, you know, as the more and more comfortable as time went on, I got more comfortable and, you know, felt more myself after that, but that period of time of like feeling that shame and embarrassment. And I think that one of the hardest points and where I felt like that the most was when Pamela and I were trying for a baby, and we couldn't conceive, especially, after the surgery. It was hard for...
It hit you hard though.
It was. I think it just it hit me differently. It's like that not being able to. And you kind of feel it. And and we were really lucky that she fell pregnant naturally, and yeah, amazing. Because there's guys out there who can't, and that's a difficult thing to deal with anyway. But just for me personally, like that was at the hardest point for me. But once, like, she was pregnant born, and baby was born,
I am a man.
Just with one. See, there we go. So I think, like, and I always hope that that's a kind of a little bit of hope for anybody who's watching that's going through it, is that it's not going to be instantaneous, but if you're no less a man just because you've only got one ball.
See, back in the day, I was probably naive and more stupid than I am now. But when I had only 1.5 ball, I didn't think I could get anyone pregnant, because I thought you needed 2 full ones.
Right.
Just the way the mind works, it's like, I'll not be able to get anyone pregnant, I've only got a half. But you need 2. You need 2 to bang that right in there, eh? Then all of a sudden got a child, and I'm like, maybe you didn't. It's just like, you only do need 1 ball, but yeah, it's stupid. The things that you think of, like how important you think your balls are, and how they run the world. It's just stupid.
That's quite a good point, actually. It's like you think they're this important, integral part of you as a human, you as a man, but they're not at all.
Well, I'm not going to get a great job unless these are huge,
Yeah, and that's, but again, and we all say it, I mean, it's like, and I don't have a problem with the kind of the terminology of it, but it is perpetuated by like gross-80 boys, or like these types of things, like when folk are like no doing something, it's like you want them to be more manly. It's, again, I don't really mind that type of thing, but you can understand why it does kind of like go to folk and it makes them feel a wee bit kind of worthless as such. It
was a hard time at the wee while, just adjusting to it all.
Yeah,
getting it removed and going back to work and trying to be normal, but you're faking it.
Right.
Kind of, it's all. Yeah. Hey, it's me, the Joker in the office, the funny guy. But I just wasn't feeling it. And then I'll go home and just sitting there like, no. As soon as no one was looking, Ken, the smile went away, and you're just like.
So it's almost hard. Like the sad clown thing, isn't it? It's that analogy.
But,
nobody sees it.
It took a wee while to get over that, and then my dumb, stupid way of being. Me, humour, Ken, just fired that out every time, and then I was just back to normal, and then just always worried about, can people see it, because we're in trousers all the time, and you're walking about and there's like 50 people around about you, like, can they see, Although see the silicone sticking out the trousers.
It's that way though, like, see for like after, like, see when you got comfortable telling people, I feel like a woman with like a double D whenever you tell folk, because you get folk going like that, like, oh yeah, I've had a testicle removed, and you could see them like trying not to look down.
Have you?
And it's like,
have you?
The minute you say it, folk look, and you're like, oh, they go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look. It's like, well, I'm covered up, so it's fine. Like,
unless you're hanging out. Show off.
You felt like a woman with a big chest because like folk were really struggling not to look down.
I've got a faking. Have you?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Trying to look. You want to look?
It's like, hey, I'm up here. But so it's, I mean, again, the conversations that I've been having, and I had not just like in here, but just in life. You're saying like your humour was the thing that got you kind of back, and that seems to be the through thread of guys who I know who have managed to kind of overcome that like feeling of like, you know, not feeling whole and not feeling good has always been humour, you know. And I know there'll be folk out there who maybe even watch this and think, oh, cancer's nothing to be laughed at, or having like surgeries is nothing to be laughed at. But you know, it's like, if that's your journey and you can't, then yeah, that's fine, and however you get over that. But I think humour in anything, if you can laugh, you're always going to feel better.
Depends how you process it as well. You're mentally, you got to go with your personality as well. You know who you are. If you're a serious man and you crab it all the time, then you're going to find it more difficult than someone like us who just like, ha 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 ha, life's funny, you know.
Aye.
But it's, you have to do it your way to make you get through it as best way as possible. Mine's is humour, mine's is joke. I just want to just be funny and just make people laugh and put smiles on people's faces.
Aye.
Whereas people who are serious and not that humorous will have a more, not, I won't say a difficult time, but they'll have their own process of way to dealing with it.
Aye.
Maybe they need to go for therapy or, you know, get guidance, but that'll be their way. It's weird how different people react to the same thing in different ways. But yeah.
Aye. Oh, I bet if a therapist was to unpack some of my stuff, I think it'd be like Pandora's box, mate.
I tell you, a therapist will have a field day with me.
I don't know what one of my personalities would come out, but but yeah, aye. But it's been amazing to be able to kind of sit and talk, and I know we talk like this anyway.
Yeah.
But to be able to kind of put like our conversation out there, like I'm thoroughly grateful that you've came on.
Always, mate.
On the podcast. I suppose it's like I always like to say to the guests, you know, like if you want to promote Neil's Darts, you know, go away, tell people your handles, your pages, and I promote away.
Oh, now? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Right, so now you can find me on YouTube. I'm on all social medias, mainly on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram and Facebook. I do darts reviews. I used to do live streams, but I've not done any for a while. So yeah, find me on social media, Neil's Darts, always there, doing some sort of video on darts. Not the greatest, but it gets out there.
Boom. No, thanks very much, mate. Thank you.
No worries.